Hey, let's bring it back. Right, that's a big no on the bar risers then. Yeah, they look like they fit and everything. They're supposed to go on with no changes to your original brake pipe, clutch lever, wiring, etc. Well, I've had the bars off of this, put the risers on, and there's absolutely no way that these are going on with this brake line, which is already, I say it's not tight obviously because it's a stock one, and this clutch cable as well. Basically there's not enough stretch on the brake line and the clutch cable. maybe the brake line could be rerouted the other side of the fork, but it's supposed to go straight on without any of that malarkey. Okay, this is pointing quite upwards, so maybe if the union was pointed down more. I think personally, to get these bar risers on, I need another brake line, which would be an inch, say 2 inches longer, which isn't a problem. Hell do them. I've had them before. I've ordered them before for other bikes. Clutch cable, I don't know. There's probably enough slack on it, but even that, I'm not quite sure. So what I'm going to do, leave it for now, carry on with it in the stance it is at the moment, which, it's not extreme. It's a bit forward for me because I'm used to upright bikes, tourers, adventure bikes, but it's not painful, so I'm going to live with it for now. And if in the future I decide I want it to be another 1.25 inches higher on the bars, I will get a longer brake hose and possibly a longer clutch cable, because I think Hell do clutch cables as well. I'm not sure. Anyway, I've had Triumph longer clutch cables from wherever I got them last. And I discovered today a power outlet which is the same as the BMW. I thought the power outlet, if it had one, would be in here, because I've seen pictures of them in here before. So I changed the end on my other charger, on this charger. This one I had one of the DIN, one of these, where are we? I had one of those on the end of this charger, my main one, but I couldn't find the outlet on that, so I put a, like you saw yesterday, a standard one of them on, and lo and behold, today I find the power accessory socket is in the fairing. That's fine, I'll keep the charger as it is now, and the accessory socket being a small DIN type, I've got some spare ends. In fact, I've got one of these that adapts from that to a cigarette lighter size, and I think what I'll do is probably get one of those which has a couple of USBs in it, because I reckon that if I ever use it, it would be more useful with a USB. To be honest though, if I go anywhere, if I go on a longish trip, I take a portable battery power pack USB thing, whatever you call it, backup battery, which is about the size of a mobile phone. So there we go. Bars will just stay the same for now. It's a shame. These are decent parts. They're nicely made. I like the fact that there's a cap on there so that you can unscrew that and get to the suspension settings, unlike the cheaper ones which just have like a tin press-on cap. But it did say in the advert, no cables and hoses will be harmed in the making of this procedure. You can put them straight on and there's enough line on the bike to fit. Well, it doesn't, so see how we go. There was something else. Oh, I just adjusted all the suspension to stock. The front, these were already at stock. There's 3 lines showing, or 10mm is stock. On the back there is, that's the preload adjuster. It's screwed all the way in to clockwise is maximum preload, anti-clockwise is least preload, and stock setting is all the way in and out 25 clicks. Well, this was actually out about 40 clicks, so I guess somebody set it up soft, which is probably why I thought it was lovely and comfortable, because I have all mine set up really soft, but that's not ideal, conducive for pillion, because you need a bit of extra oomph. But anyway, it was sort of fairly scrawky and seized, so I've unseized it, and it's all working well. So it's set up at stock, and then under there, which somewhere in there is a screw for the rebound damping. Sorry, you can't really see that. And its stock is all the way in, and then 1.5 turns out. So I've set all of the suspension to stock, checked in the manual. Tyre pressures are, nope, that's the shock settings for the rear and the front. And tyre pressures, oh, there you go, Sprint, 42 and 36, regardless of 1 or 2 persons and luggage. So that's nice and easy, because on all my other bikes there's different settings for, you can see I love a bit of graffiti, I'm just no good at it. Or Banksy, it'd be I'm going to say Banksy would turn in his grave, but he's not dead. Hopefully he's not dead. Right. What a load of old waffle again. So it's Saturday today. Tomorrow, let's see if we can get this sold, and I can have a bit of room left. Yeah, still haven't cleaned it. Obviously, as you can see, it's horrible rain. I was going to give it a bit of a clean up. There's no point at the moment. I've been round lubing everything, making sure everything's fine. I've lubed up this, he says, this strange contraption, which is for the, that's supposed to be loose and floppy. It moves between the panniers as you corner, as you go round bends, but the front of the pannier is locked in a sort of a box here, so it can't have a lot of movement. Not really sure what the advantage is of having luggage that pivots, and to be honest, I don't know, it's only going to pivot an inch, or I'm not sure about that, but it's something they did, so I'm going to try and free that off even more. Doesn't look like there's no grease nipple on it, so yeah, hey ho. So there you go. It's supposed to be light intermittent rain showers and a gentle breeze. Well, it's completely still, there's no breeze, and so far it's been proper Marty Pello. Figure that one out. Right, turn you around. Oh, there you go. So a bit of a nothing video, but I could have shown you me messing around with the bar risers, but it wasn't a success, so probably no point. I'm sorry about the glaring strip light in the background. Yeah, so I'll be back with any other updates, and thanks for your, there was a brilliant comment this morning. Now, hope I get this right, Bad Santa. It said on the last video, the proper introduction to the Triumph, I think it was Bad Santa. I really hope it was Bad Santa. Bad Santa. It said, "Hi, Springy back. I've sold the Triumph." Oh no, that is not happening. So you're gonna have to get behind me to keep this bike more than 3 months. My average for a bike is a year. I normally get them through. Obviously, I get them with an MOT from the dealer, or in fact, it's a long time since I bought a bike privately. I like the safety of buying from dealers. I know you pay more, but there you go. So I normally buy them with an MOT, and then by the next MOT, it's like, well, I've had it a year, let's try something else. Didn't work this year because I've had the V-Strom DL1000, the BMW R1150 RT, and the Triumph Sprint 1050 ST. So let's try and keep this one. I actually had I'm sure I've told you before, of the 51 bikes I've owned, my 2000 Suzuki Bandit 600S Mark II, which was 18 months old when I bought it with 7,000 miles on it, I kept for 7 years. And that was sort of, I was going to say recent history, but I must have bought that, maybe 18 years ago, and kept it till about 11 years ago. I think vaguely. It was when I moved to where I am now from down south. I came up here with a Transalp, 600 Transalp, proper Transalp, the one that looks like a Paris-Dakar type bike, not the strange bubble-shaped 650 or the weird skinny 700 that they do now. Anyway, had an XL, and I think it was an E-Reg 1988 Transalp, XL V600, XL 600, whatever you call it. That was one that it was a basket case, and I rebuilt it to factory spec in the time-honoured Springy tradition. And then for some reason I sold it, and then I bought a GPZ 750, an A-Reg sorry, was it A? It may have been A-Reg 1983. Anyway, GPZ 750, not the turbo, just the, and that was a nightmare bike. I spent a lot of time refettling that, and never ever got it to run properly. Carbs, and also I've replaced everything on that bike, and sold it for a great big loss. And then I was really fed up with, because of the GPZ 750, I was fed up with the trying to get old bangers running. I went to Colin Willoughby's first shop. Now, this is 18 years ago when I moved here, and his first little shop, well, the first shop he had since I've known him. I went in looking for a 1200 Bandit, and I wanted a Mark II. I wanted it in a midnight blue type colour, and I wanted an S with a half fairing, 1200, and he didn't have one. So he did have exactly that, but in the 600. And being Colin, he said, well, if you want to buy it and try it, I'll look for a 12, and if I find a 12, bring back the 6, and as long as you haven't thrown it down the road, I'll give you all your money back against the 12. So this was my first experience with Colin. I kept it 7 years because that bike was brilliant, and it did everything. And you don't need 1 litre 1200 1300cc bikes, which is where I've been for the last, I don't know, 10 years. You don't need them. 600cc Bandit does everything. Fantastic bike. it must have been good because I kept it 7 years. And then since then, it's been like a bike a year or 2 bikes a year or 3 bikes a year ever since, looking for the perfect bike for me. Well, I guess the perfect bike for me is a Mark II year 2000 600 Bandit in with the half fairing S in midnight blue. I guess that was the one. But anyway, we've moved on, and that was just to explain that. What was it trying to explain? Trying to explain that I'm going to try and keep this Triumph. Oh yeah, and we need to name it. I don't have a name. Rita was easy because Marty Volgnit said BMW, Bob Marley's wife, which is what all his mates used to say when he had his BMW. He's still got a BMW. I think he's got a K. Anyway, Bob Marley's wife, BMW, and Bob Marley's wife's name is Rita Alpha. So Rita, and it's an RT. So RT, Rita, it was obvious, simple. So the Triumph needs a name, and I haven't thought about it much. It's an ST. Sometimes I look at the registration and see if there's anything in the reg that sort of helps. Can't even remember the registration of this one. Let's turn it around. Right, yeah, I know there's bad karma about license plates on YouTube, but I don't care. So that's, not sure if there's anything we can make out of that, and let's keep the comments polite, please. So I don't know, it's a Triumph, and it's obviously got to be a female name, although it does look very male, this bike. But anyway, I don't know, ST Stella, who knows, you tell me. Okay, so there you go. Tell me what it's called, because I don't know, and somebody will have a much better suggestion than anything I can think of. Actually, my V-Strom I named it Crichton because it just looked like Crichton's head. It was all square, golf ball head, ugly thing. In the eye of the beholder, I loved it. So yeah, so I have had male names for bikes before. You tell me what you think. Yeah, please name my bike. And let's not name any new bikes anytime soon. Cheers, I've been Springy. Peas and loaf.